Hello YouTube, good morning. And I say it's morning here because it's 7:47 in the morning, and we're gonna do a real-time flight of Capital Flight 524 to Kansas City from St. Louis today in the Boeing 727. You may recognize this airplane because this is, and not only are we at St. Louis, but this is the one that you've seen in some of my real videos in real life, the airplane that I work on. So you're going to get to see what they go through from their stages of flight all the way to Kansas City. So with that, let's open up our door here and our stairs. We can go ahead and chalk the wheels and we'll fire this bird up. I hate that the AI plane makes a lot of racket over there. Alright, so first things first. Yeah. Here's the APU panel, but we're going to go up here to our battery. Battery is on. Everybody looks happy there. And we can fire our APU up. And she's starting to fire up. Right down here. 3,500. It'll stabilize at 4,000, like so. Then we can close the connection, and we have our amps. So now we can go ahead and provide power to the airplane off of the APU. Our cooling doors. We can close. We'll turn our packs off. We don't need those on for engine start. Cooling doors can be open for now. We'll close them when we do our engine start. Engine bleeds are all open right now. Everybody else is happy there, so now you can see from the outside view. Oh, actually, don't ask me why this thing does not like to load textures sometimes. Turn our nav lights on here. There they are. And I don't know why the strobe lights are on, but see our nav lights, a little red one there, and a green one over here. And actually, the APU that you're hearing, that hissing sound, is a mini jet engine. Actually, it's located right here. Oh, come on. Oh, right there by that left main wheel well. Right up in there is where that APU is located. It's a mini jet engine that provides power to the airplane whenever it's sitting on the ground without engines running. So without further ado, we're going to get going with our flight here today. We're going to go to our fuel and payload. Fuel, we're going to do 898. We're going to do 8,000 pounds in the left, 9,000 pounds in the center, and 8,000 pounds as well in the right. We'll hit OK. The airplane should be nice and empty. It looks like it might be. Alright, so now we can verify that the fuel has been properly loaded in the airplane, right like this. 8,000, 8,998 in the middle, and 79.99 there. Our left one is closed, or center one is open for the APU, but all the fuel valves are open. So we are actually pretty good. We're good for an engine start. So the first thing we want to do now is we're going to pull the chocks. We're going to close the door. Like so. So we have that. Now we can go. Beacon light's going to come on. Beacon light is on. And we can go ahead and start engine 3. That's what it was. Alrighty, so we're happy there. We can go ahead and set our flight instruments. Taxi lights can come on. We can set our brakes are released. And begin our taxi. And I'm not sure what runway they told us to go to. Let's get this bird rolling. Alright, so on our taxi out, we can set our flaps for 15 for takeoff. That's flap 5. That's flaps 10. Oh, so they're moving into 15 now, so 17.4 for the navigation. Alright, so 17.4. And we're going to fly to 297 radial on that one. So I'll kind of miss that at 297. Somebody just took off a little bit ago there. Come on, textures. Fuck it off. Oh no, you don't, dickhead. You wait your turn. I love how they act like they have right of way. I'm telling you right now, I am not. Should have never taken ATC because no airplane in their right mind would taxi to runway 11 in this airport. It's way out of the way. So I'm making a decision here. I'm following this American 757. We'll see what he's going to do, but if he heads over to 11, I'm just going to take off on 12 right. There's somebody off in the distance taking off. I'm trying to make sure I haven't overlooked anything. I haven't flown this thing in a while. Everybody looks happy there. Alright. Yeah, they're going over to 11. I am not. So yeah, I bought this scenery a while back. This is the Taxi 2 Gate St. Louis scenery in Missouri Air National Guard. This is the airport I work at, and actually the ramp I was just on is the very ramp that I work at. Yeah, I'm definitely taking 12 right. I'm not listening to ATC today. Nope. They'll just waste our time. Once the 757 gets out of our way.
American 1610, clear to O'Hare Airport. Filed. Fly runway heading, climb and maintain 7000. Departure on 100.05, clock 7007. American 1610, readback is correct. Contact ground on 101.65. When ready to taxi. Same really route, water 5476, Clear Park, Cedar Rapids, ready to copy. Water 5476, clear to Cedar Rapids, Airport, net file. Fly runway heading, climb and maintain 12000. Departure frequency is 120.05.
Yep, we're not listening to these idiots. Let's just go flip over to tower so I don't hear the ground anymore. They're a little annoying after a while, aren't they?
St. Louis Tower, American 810, ready for IFR departure, runway 11. American 810,
think you will agree. And actually, let's turn on some lights here.
Runway 12, left. Clear for takeoff, runway 11. American 810.
None of those. I want those over there. There they are. And our compass light. Alright, now that we're down here at the end of our runway, I'm just going to go ahead and tell us we're clear for takeoff. Landing lights are on. Wing light. Did we just lose avionics? Yes, we did, of course. I don't fucking get it. This airplane, and sometimes the electrical system just does not work right in it. It's bugged. I tell you, it is bugged. I mean, what is this thing's deal? Seriously. See, this is where we troubleshoot our issues. Well, the only way I know around it right now is to fire the APU up. So let's go ahead and do that. We should get our avionics back at least. Yep, there they went. So we're just gonna fly with the damn APU on. I don't care. So we're clear for takeoff. See our flaps and slats are out. Check our speed brakes. They work. So we'll need that in case we have a rejected takeoff in RPO. So now we're clear for takeoff. Looking for traffic. No traffic landing. Alright, we line up on our runway. We'll go add our power in, stabilize the engines, and set takeoff thrust. And takeoff thrust set. We're in the green on our trim. Just double checking. We'll rotate around 135, 138 knots. 120. V1, rotate. And we have positive. Oh, load. And we have positive rate. Gear up. About 200, we'll start cleaning our flaps up. Flap 10 or 5 now. And we're turning back around towards the St. Louis VOR. And here on my HSI, or my heading indicator down here, you see 011, that's telling me how many miles away I am to the VOR. 11. Shut up. Clean our flaps up. Start pulling our power back. Can't exceed 250 knots. Can't exceed 250 under 10,000 feet. So let's keep an eye on that. Oh, shut up. I know how to shut them up, and I'm going to here in a minute. Just bear with me. I'm just flying the airplane right now. There's the airport down there. Loading textures like crazy. It only does that with this scenery for some reason. Haven't figured that one out all the way yet. We're climbing 15,000 or 9 miles from the VOR. I'm trying to line up on it now. Alright, enough of that. Where we at? There we go, shut up. So I'm 7 miles. You see the needle starting to move to the right. We're going to fly on to it here in a minute. Just managing power right now. Flaps are up. Gear is up. Lights out. So there's definitely a bug with this Captainsim 727. Whenever you get, I don't know why, but you got to run the APU in order for it to believe that it has power to the electrical systems. So now I'll turn right onto the needle to 300, well 297 actually. We're 4 miles to the VOR. There, we're right on it right there. Now you're going to see that needle go flying way off to the left, and that's because the closer you get to the VOR, the more sensitive it is, obviously, because we're almost about to pass it. So as soon as we get really close here, about 2 miles from it, I'm going to begin my left turn to 281 so I can head to Cabot intersection on the Ozark 3 departure. Well, 4 I believe is what it is nowadays, but there's 2 miles so we can get our turn. So we want 281 and we want to fly 32 miles DME so we know when we're at the intersection. So we're going to intercept it. Of course, the 281. Come on, you stupid thing. So we're at 11,000 feet. We can now add our climb power. We're above 10,000 feet, so landing lights are off. And taxi lights as well. So now we're flying onto this needle. See how that needle's starting to come to the right? We're gonna fly 281 to Cabot. And we want to go 32 miles DME to Cabot intersection. Fly maintain flight level 250. And that's not, I'm hand flying this, folks. A 727 is a pretty hands-on airplane. It's not hitting the autopilot and there you go. It does have an autopilot in it, but it's very limited. That's why I enjoy flying this, because you get to fly the old VOR radios and hand fly it. I love hand flying this airplane. We overshot it by a little bit, so we'll try to get back on track here. Yeah, we're climbing through 15,000 now. And we're empty, so when you see me climbing out at about 3,500, 4,000 feet per minute, that's why we are flying empty. Our climb profile would be a lot different if we had freight on board, which we don't. There we go. Turn back over to 281. We're pretty much headed where we want to be now. And we are flying real world weather in the real time, so everything is what you see. And we're using Active Sky 2012 for the weather. I am running AI Smooth. See, we're starting to hit some turbulence now. We're above 18,000 feet, so I just changed our altimeter back to 2992 standard pressure. You always go to standard pressure above 18,000 feet. Yeah, we're encountering some turbulence here. It's usually expected. It's what they call CAT, clear turbulence. And you can see it went away quite quickly. Turn back onto our VOR here. We're only 18 miles from the VOR. We want to be 32 to Cabot, and then we'll switch over to Hallsville VOR, and we'll fly to the Hallsville VOR. How does that sound? I know it sounds like fun. We're only going to fly at 26,000 feet today. I don't feel like going really high for this small of a trip to Kansas City. Flight level 220. Trying to find out. Right now you'll see how I'm turning the airplane back on to the heading. I'm actually trying to feel out the wind right now to see where it's coming from, because it's blowing us to the right. And I believe winds are out of the south, so that would be why. We need to get back on course here, so we'll do a 5-degree intercept. Fly back onto it. us. Now we turn back on a little bit there. 25,000 feet. 1 to go. That little alerter we're just telling us that we have 1,000 feet to go to our assigned altitude we have in our alerter over here. So that I know. I can start opening my autopilot here in a minute. There's 32, so we're at the Cabot intersection. Once I get to flight level 260, I'm going to flip over to Hallsville VOR, and we're going to fly to Hallsville VOR. So, I'm on, almost to it. There's flight level 260. Right there, altitude hold, and autopilot is engaged. I'll have my heading select on. And now I can manage the airplane again. We'll pull our power back just a little bit for cruise. And we're going to flip over to Hallsville VOR. 114.2 in the box. So let's go to 114.2. 14 and 2. Alright, so now we're going to fly still 281, and it's going to be 46 from here. To the Hallsville VOR. So we're 37 miles out now, and now you can see it's counting down. 36 and so on and so forth, because now we are flying to the Hallsville VOR instead of away from the St. Louis VOR when we started. Some other airplanes up here today is the contrails. It's an all-around beautiful day. Airplanes up here. It's pretty neat. Alright, so now that I'm going to go ahead and make a left turn heading and intercept this radial so we can be inbound on the 281 radial to the Hallsville VOR. And once we cross over Hallsville, we're going to be ready to what we just flew was a SID, Standard International Departure, and then when we arrive here near Kansas City, we're going to be doing the Bramer 4 arrival, which is a star, standard arrival. And from Hallsville, we're going to turn to the Macon VOR. So it's kind of going to be like a little Z in the center of our flight path today. But we're doing that because I'll turn the airplane back this way so we can intercept this needle. We'll fly to the Macon VOR, then to Coram intersection, Bramer VOR, then to Don's intersection, and Matt's. And then around Matt's, a little after, we'll set up our approach for ILS runway 19 right into Kansas City. So we're just 19 miles to the VOR now. And once I get about 2 miles or so, a little less than that, not less, I meant more, we'll begin our turn to the Macon VOR. We'll fly direct to the Macon VOR. And then, once we cross over that, we will fly to the Bramer VOR, but we'll fly the Coram intersection. Neil's already getting a little sensitive on me. We're getting closer to it, which is fine. It's to be expected. So yeah, our total flight time today is 38 minutes. It shouldn't be any longer than that. Actually, we'll be on the ground before you know it. And it does have our weather radar in it, but don't really need it because nothing going on today with it. But I'll fire it up and show it to you anyway. It's coming alive there. As you can see, it's in standby mode. We can put it into test mode. And then we'll turn it on. Might as well just have it on. But don't expect any weather at all. Not today, at least. These little green lights up here, I didn't show you that earlier, but those are window heat. So that provides heat to the windshield out here so the ice does not form on it. And it's a cold day, I'll tell you that. We're about 7 miles of VOR, so now I'm going to go ahead and start my turn to the Macon VOR, 112.9. So let's do 112.9 in the box here. And there it is. So now we'll spin this course until it lines up, like so, and we'll find our course to it. It's going to be about 324 or so. So we're going to go ahead and start our turn, and it's actually going to be a little further than that. It's probably going to be about 335 or so. We'll start with 335 and try to turn on it. If not, we can always intercept and get right back onto it, but that's for the most part what we're doing. And we're turning onto it quite nicely. Turn a little left, shallow it out, and find the actual course. Looks like it's going to be about right here. We're 35 miles to it. And she's turning on it. Nice and easy. As you can see, we lined right up on that needle, and that's what we wanted to do. And a little bit of turbulence up here. We're just kind of off to the left there, down that way is Columbia and Jefferson City and all that, but we're flying north now to this VOR, so that's why I said we didn't make it a Z. We'll make a right, we go 30 miles and make a left, and then we head into Kansas City. Unfortunately, we had to run the APU today the entire time. Normally the APU we would shut off. This is this guy over here. And I don't know why this thing is not happy. But the airplane still has some bugs in it. That is for certain. But for the most part, it is very fun to fly, and very true to the realistic feel of the 727. It's all around fun airplane to fly. So we're coming up about 20 miles to the VOR. I'm going to keep trying to dial in on this. You can see that needle's running away off our right wing. And of course it'll do that when we get closer to the VOR, but try not to get way off course. You usually want to be accurate. In real life, you'd be accurate for ATC reasons. They expect you to be able to fly within 5 miles of it, of the course. I keep forgetting winds are about 190 or so they are pushing us as well. So instead of, when I cross over the Macon VOR, instead of just going ahead straight to the Braemar VOR, I'm going to actually fly to the Coram intersection using the DME distance measuring equipment from the Macon VOR. That's my plan of action, at least. And once we cross the Macon VOR, we'll fly 34 DME on the 263 outbound radial to Coram intersection. If you're following along on the Braemar port arrival, which maybe I'll pop up in a corner or something, I don't know. Haven't decided yet. So we're about 9 miles to the VOR, getting very close to it. That needle's gonna start getting very sensitive. There's 8 miles. So actually, since this airplane takes a little while to turn, I'm gonna go ahead and turn to 263 on my heading. Right there, and I'm going to turn my course to 263 as well. So we can fly this. And what I'll do is I'll fly intercept heading about right here, about right there, and we'll fly onto the needle. And we're already showing away from the VOR now. Because you got to realize we're in a Boeing 727. We're going quite fast. In smaller airplanes, VORs come up much slower and you have more time. But with a commercial airliner, once you get close to a VOR, about 10 miles or so from it, you want to start getting ready to turn. Because by the time you're finished with your turn, you'll be way over it. There's our needle spinning right now like crazy, turning. I'm trying to really turn on this sucker. I know we're going to be a little over it, but that's alright. That's only because we're very, very close to the VOR and it's very sensitive. Alright, so once we get the Coram, we're going to probably begin our descent very soon, and what we'll do is we want to cross the Braemar VOR at 12,000 feet. So there's the needle coming back to us, so we can turn back to the right. So now we want to fly 34 DME in this little box from the Macon VOR to Coram intersection. Alright, so 12,000. We're going to go ahead and lower this down to 12,000. That's just our alert, remember, it's just reminding us what altitude is coming up that we had set. So let's look at our autopilot panel. And actually, we can go ahead and start our down pitch by turning our altitude hold off. Put this nose down with the pitch selector. There we go. Get a nice little descent rate. Pull power back a little bit. And let the textures load. About 900 feet per minute right now. We just want to crack it open whenever when we start our initial descent. A little to the left of the desired path, so we'll turn right a little bit more and get back on the needle. So we're descending at about 1,000 feet per minute now. So we have 34 miles DME to the Coram VOR. And then when we switch over to the Braemar VOR, we'll be 31 miles from it by the time we get to Coram. Then we'll fly 265 to the Braemar VOR. That is my plan of action here. Just so you guys know. So yeah, anyway, like I was saying, What you're seeing here, if you're interested in any of the mods that are used in FSX, I'm using the Active Sky 2012 for the weather, using Rex Essential for the textures, Ultimate Terrain for the ground. This is the Captainsim 727. I'm using AI Smooth for the AI airplanes so they don't get all bunched up on approaches. What else am I using? I'm using tons of other stuff, I'm sure. I am using the ENB. I'm using the Rex ENB. I can actually show you what it looks like without it. I think it's Shift of 12. Yep. That's what it looks like without the ENB, and that's what it looks like with it on. I like it on. It looks a little more realistic in my opinion. Alright, we're at 31. 30. So we can start our descent now pretty good here. We'll be about a 2,000 foot per minute descent. There we go. Go up a little bit. So now we are 34 exactly. Now we can switch over to the Brammer VOR 111.2. There's 111.2. And we want to fly 265. Which we're pretty much on it right now. We'll just make a small adjustment to the right. And we want to cross over the Brammer VOR at 12,000 feet. Because we're going to be landing south. If we were landing north, we wouldn't cross 12,000 feet till Matt's intersection, which is 2 intersections after Brammer, which is 20 miles from the VOR. It looks like a little bit of precipitation down there, according to the weather radar. Let's bring that range in a little tighter to 20 miles or so. It could just be ground clutter we're picking up. That's what it looks like. Alrighty. So we're very close, folks. We're already in our descent phase. We're getting very close. We're 23 miles to the Brammer VOR. And the Brammer VOR is about roughly 39 miles or so, 40 miles from the airport. I just use this thing instead. So you see. No, I messed it up. That's what I did. That's just the sound of me disconnecting the autopilot. See, I had to fuck with the autopilot, so that's alright. I'm going to descend to about 5,000 feet. Re-engage the autopilot system again. Come on, listen to what I have to say. Don't descend like an idiot. Please. Heading select, please. And there's actually listening to me now. So yeah, we want to fly. We're just about to Don's intersection right now. I won't be messing with that again. So we can actually, once I get near that lake, I know. Reset that light. That's just an autopilot. Disengage light. 5,000 feet, 1 to go. Just letting us know. Now we'll engage our altitude hold once we get to there. Turn back onto the VOR. See, when you get busy with all this stuff, you forget about flying the plane, and that's what you don't want to do. what you don't want to do. You always want to fly the airplane first. Then you deal with your stuff later. Let's load about 200 knots for Class Bravo airspace. One to go. Oh, no, we're under it. Of course, see? Too busy chatting, not watching the altitude. Well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and go down to 3,000 feet. That's fine. That's where I want to be anyway. We're almost 20 now, so we're almost to we're at Matt's intersection. I'm just at Matt's intersection right now. So our right turn for our vectors for the ILS, runway 19 right approach. And I look at my chart here. My chart tells me we could have had it. We want to be to 2,600 for the intercept at Hensley. And what we're going to want to do here, and a little bit of power. Here we go. Flaps 5. Alright, flaps 5 is set. There's that lake I was talking about earlier. Okay, so we want 1091 in the nav. So 1091, and we want a course of 190 exactly. So there it is. The airport's right off at our 10 o'clock right now. I don't have it in sight yet. That's what our chart's telling us to do. And by God, that's what we will do. By God, that's what we will do. We will listen to the chart. I think that was like a John F. Kennedy. Okay, I got the field in sight now. It's right over here on our left. We're coming to center down to 2,600 feet. So we're essentially in pattern flying. We'd be flying our base leg. We're just going much faster and we're in a bigger airplane. But it's perfectly fine. Okay, we'll go flaps 15. And we'll fly at about 160 knots. And there it is right there. Go ahead and make our 45-degree angle descent, intercept. We're going to do it about 250 or so. Looks good today. I don't think I can get a hold of International Airport yet. We might be able to. Yep, there it is right there. Let's see if we can talk to these guys. Landing. Different runway. Do 19 right, please. Heading select off, so I have the airplane. Now we actually got the runway in sight now. So it's connecting autopilot. I've got the airplane from here. Start flying the glide slope down a little bit. Runway in sight. And I remember this airport. This glide slope is a little finicky, but we'll see how she does. And I'm flying with a lot of trim up, down on my for my final adjustments here. I'm gonna start flying the ILF here in a second. I need to get down on this glide slope. That is for certain. This needle should start turning to the left here in a minute. Although I've got the runway in sight, it doesn't really matter. There it is. We're gonna put our gear down. There's the runway. Flaps 25 for landing. You see that needle swinging all the way out to the left because it's showing us the center line of the runway. And then you're going to see this little triangle here, right in this area. He's going to come up. He's showing us the glide slope. Clear land, Cappy, 524. So we start coming down on the glide slope, nice and easy. Now we're going to go to power back to about 140 knots final approach speed here. Flaps 25 are set. When, upon touching down the runway, we'll pull our speed brake lever out, which I actually have on my throttle quadrant. All right, now we're just coming down on the glide slope, nice and easy. We're not forcing the airplane down. We're going to pull back about 140 knots again. But you can see we're pretty close on the localizer, is what that is called. The needle that's going to the right and left, showing us the center line of the runway on that needle. So that's what that's all about, if you were wondering. Now you see that little arrow starting to come up. That's showing me how high off the ground I need to be. So it's still showing me a little high. The lights are too. Those Cappy lights. But all in all, we had a good approach going so far. Let's hope Jeff doesn't royally fuck it up, right? Landing gear is down. We're 3 green. Landing flaps are set. Landing, I have control. See, now we're a little below the glide slope. We'll pull back, add a little bit of power. Not too much though. We don't want to balloon this sucker on the way in. It likes to do that. Oh, we had a little bit of wind shear there. Yeah, she likes to do that to us on short final. We're right on the glide slope. 2 red, 2 white. And we don't want to ever force the airplane, so we're just going to fly her down. Now we're starting our flare. Starting our flare, starting our flare, starting our flare. Pull the power back. And we're down. Speed brakes open. We'll apply reverse thrust now. $60 knots. Close those open. Speed brake in. Watching what we're doing here. See, this is why it's ridiculous to fly a airplane that requires 3 men in real life. So we can go to APU, so on and so forth. Turn our landing lights off. Keep the taxi lights on. So there you have it, folks. That's pretty much what a flight in a commercial airplane's like. This is an older airplane, still flown today. Obviously, you've seen videos of it before. And actually, you can see the Cappy sitting over there. That's where the real flight is. The one that we just flew for. But he beat us in. So yes, we did fly a real world route. We flew Cappy Capital Flight 524 from St. Louis to Kansas City. Taxi on this way. So we'll just park next to our buddy over here. How about that? And a little truck goes whizzing right off our nose. That never fails. We'll park on the left of them right here, straight in. So we'd say we have the marshaller in sight. We'll turn our taxi lights off. We're in the dirt. Very nice. Watch for our little sign here. That's exactly where we want to be. So upon arriving at our gate, we would shut the engines down by the very way we gave fuel to them. Like so. Parking brake is set. We can put the chocks in now. Which wheel chocks are in. We'll let them pull the air stairs down while we're at it. Beacon light will come off so we can tell the ground crew that it's okay to move towards the airplane and position the GSC. Cooling doors, we can keep them open for now. That looks good. APU bleeds open. Shut those. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the flight. I'll show you a little bit of the eye candy on the outside of the door. The door. The outside of the plane. I said door because I could see the door there. There it is. There's a little jump seat over there. So, anywho. From the outside view, we got... I don't know why those landing lights are stuck on like that, but not a big deal. So we have the air stairs back here. They actually used to load passengers through those whenever they didn't have a gate. But it's also where the tail stand goes in the real airplane. We can open our door here, main door, and our air stairs. And actually, most 727s, and especially this one, these air stairs are in-op. They don't even work on it. We roll stairs up to them. You can open the main cargo door. There it is. What else do we want to do? We could open the pilot's windows, but it is cold out, so we're not going to do that. Here's our loader. We can show the main deck loader. Go forward and up. And actually, this is the machine that I operate sometimes at work. And this is basically how you would load the airplane. You would, well, in real life, you just throw it on there, but with this, you have to put them on over here. See there? And then we would go forward. And then you would go up. And then you could load it in or out or what have you. But that's essentially it, folks. We flew it in empty. We could have flown it in with containers. Would have been a lot different. Climb out. There's a Southwest taxiing over there. But in hindsight, we can just say that we provided a recovery flight for that airplane over there and say he was broken or something. So, hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you next time.